Now, I want to talk about reboots, like television sitcom reboots. And ever since Boy Meets World, or the new one, Girls Meets World, finally came to television, a lot of, let's say, other shows, people who work on shows, want to consider doing their own rebooted shows, such as Married Children, Saved by the Bell, etc., etc. You can't think of anything else, right? But I want to give my thoughts about it. Like, does it work? Does it not work? Is it a good thing to do that or not? Uh, but first, a little backstory, a tidbit about here is that, believe it or not, is that reboots been around, not just like now. They've been around in the 50s, ever since television were invented. Like the example I can think of is the Munsters. When I was young, I used to watch it in the channel, the classic 1950 Munsters. And then later on in 1980, there was a 80s version. And same goes with, well, the Addams Family. There was a series in the 1950. And then I think I was still in college, there was the new Addams Family. Told me those kids. So there you go. But how come you say, well, those are reboots? How come it's not a big deal for you? Well, for me personally, it's not because I didn't really grow up watching the Addams Family or the Monsters. Yeah, I watched them because they showed it, but I never grew up with them. I like Boy Meets World or Boy Meets World and Full House. When I was young, I always like, oh great, it's Friday, it's time to watch this. And then when I was in high school, that's when Boy Meets World basically debuted. Watched it for a while, interesting. Those are a bit more of a big deal to me than say something from the 1950s. So there you go. So does Boy Meets World or Girl Meets World work as a reboot? I think so. Because, I mean, for one, it's in the Disney Channel. And apparently a lot of people, yeah, liked it. I mean, the fans said it works for the new generation. And for the new people who really into it for the first time, said, yeah, it was actually entertaining to watch. That, hey, guess what? They already made 2 seasons. They're going to do a third one, I think, on the works, from what I heard. So yeah, I guess, yeah, it does work. I did watch the first episode. It did have that feeling of the Boy Meets World, but for a new generation. Again, you have to understand that Girl Meets World is that the main character there is, I forget her real name, but her character name is Riley Matthews. Because, of course, the story takes place, of course, years already, and that Corey and Topanga are married and they already have jobs. And thing funny is also that Corey Matthews is supposed to be the same age as me. So if I'm, say, 36, Corey Matthews should be like somewhere in that age group. I don't know what his age in the show, but but I can understand why they had to go to a junior high setting than a high school setting because it wouldn't really make sense. So you got a 17-year-old kid and you got 30. That means they had a kid like when they were really young. I don't know, just throwing it out there. But I think junior high does make sense. So yeah, so she's like 14, and then of course Riley Matthews is the daughter of Corey Topanga Matthews. And of course you see, of course, Corey Matthews, the former main character of Boy Meets World. But it's mostly, he's like a wisdom guy, like gives you advice. He's a teacher in the new show. But again, remember, it's focused on Riley. It's a new generation. And I think it works. I mean, like I said, a lot of people liked it. There's the third season, I heard it's coming. So, yeah, I mean, maybe in the long run I'll go watch it and see if the story gets better. I heard, like I said, good reviews. So there you go. So another one was Fuller House. Basically, in this version, basically, like two teenage kids and their friend are now mothers. Well, two of them, and another one is just a young adult, I guess. I don't know her backstory for this one. And now they're the new three, let's just say the three amigos that was in the original Full House. Danny Tanner, Jesse, I can't say his last name, sorry. and Joey Gladstone. I think that's his character name. I mean, it kind of makes sense because the new main character now there is supposed to be DJ Tan. Well, her name is now DJ Tanner Fuller. That's why Fuller House. Her last name is Fuller. Same premise. Her husband died, so she's the widow. Stephanie Tanner still there. I think supposed to be single from what I heard. And Kimmy Gibbler. I know she's supposed to be married, has a daughter, but again, it's just a show. And I did watch the first episode. Unfortunately, it doesn't really count as what I thought about it. Because the first episode was basically, they purposely did this with a lot of throwback. They had to do a lot of throwback for the nostalgia people who watch Full House. But if you want to know like the new premise story, I have to watch episode 2. Because episode 1 was basically, a lot of them they were just breaking the fourth wall. They're just doing weird things, a lot of reference from the original one, because that's the whole point, trying to get the feeling. But the premise is that they still in the house apparently, but this time it's Kimmy Gibbler, Stephanie Tanner, and DJ Tanner Fuller are now the main characters in that one. And once in a while you see the other characters in it, from what I heard. I know it's surprising the other one, the only one that you're not gonna see as of right now. Well, the first season to say, excuse me, was the Olsen twins, and the only reason basically that people already knew the news is that they're done acting. From what I heard, they're doing other things. So, I mean, I'll go check out the second episode to see if it's good or not. But I heard, there's a lot of good things because guess what? Netflix ordered the second season, so we'll see what happened there. So you might now say, well, should they do other sitcom reboots? And I know there was one in talks that I think his name is David Fautisni, Bud Bundy, or better yet, Mako from The Legend of Korra. He was in talks with a lot of people that they were thinking about they want to do a reboot to Married Children, but mostly focused on Bud Bundy, like he'll be the main character. Right now, there's really not the information. They're just talking about it because the other actors, well, remember, some of them are active, like Keith Sagat, Peggy Bundy. I think she has some movies she does. Christina Applegate also, I think she has some movies. And of course, Ed O'Neill, Bud Bundy, the shoe salesman, or women shoe salesman. Or right now, is very active to another show called Modern Family, which is an ABC show. Very interesting show. I watched a couple of episodes. So right now there's nothing to work, but you never know. So that I agree. Maybe you could do a reboot on Married Children. But there are other ones that people might say they wanted to do. They said, well, what about a Family Matter with Urkel? What Family Matter with that show made it good was Steve Urkel. And from what I not really, unfortunately, I mean, without Steve Urkel, there wouldn't be Family Matter. I mean, they could probably say that they had a new kid, that's the new main character, Stephen Urkel Jr. or whatever. And then I forgot Urkel and Laura, I think that's her name, Laura Winslow. I can't remember, it's so long. They're married, whatever. Maybe that might work, but of course, I'm just throwing out there. But of course, for a fact also, what people don't know is that Jill White did another sitcom after Family Matter. It was fortunate for one season. It was actually good, but it was way, way different than what Family Matter is. It was basically the opposite. His premise was like he works in a business model agency or something. Something like that. So, but unfortunately, didn't really click. People, when they just see Jilly, were like, wow, this is like, I'm watching Stefan Urkel 24, like in the entire show. Well, like I said, it wasn't meant to be nerdy. And of course, they even said, I think Jail White, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he even said that doing the Urkel voice actually hurts his throat. Like, I think one time when he did it, he had to go to the hospital. So, I don't know. So, reboot to Family Matter? I doubt it. Then another maybe. What about Perfect Stranger? Again, maybe again the premise is the focus now is on the kids rather than Larry and Balky. But I really couldn't really get into the Perfect Stranger, like the premise of it. All I know is that Balky's from a country, a like a country place, and he doesn't know the, like the city life and then the dance of joy. That's all I remember. And of course, after a while, you see those two in other shows are being very active. So again, I don't know about that one. So I mean, maybe the other ones. So I can't think of right now. That's all I can think of right now. But yeah, so reboot and sitcom, I think they're always good if you do it right. That's just my opinion. And what they did with Girls Meet World actually was right. It was a new generation. Corey Matthews was supposed to be there, like the word of wisdom, the voice, just hey, da 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 da. And I mean, Topeka was even there, but she's only like, she has like one or two liners. But again, they're not the main characters anymore. They're just there to support the main character. I heard the same goes with Fuller House. But again, the focus is on those three kids, DJ, Stephanie, and Kimmy. There you go. So, there you go. My thoughts on reboots. I think if you do it right, it'll be entertaining. And if you say, well, how come other reboots can't work? Basically, the premise might not work, and also you have to understand that if the actor is very active on the movie or television scene, then there you go. Yeah, it's not that happens. So there you go. Well, thanks for listening for that one.